Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as drivers get ready to rock and roll here for the start of our third round of the playoffs here from the beautiful Michigan International Speedway. As these premium stock car racing league drivers get ready to go to battle, qualifying just starting to come to an end here. So what we're going to do before we get ready to rock and roll, before we get ready to set these drivers loose, we're going to bring in our opening command here this evening. Mr. Lonnie Crider coming in with the opening command here today.
Yep, it's me. It's a little bit dark out here. Lonnie Crider coming to you. Hey, you're going to be in the dark tonight if you don't do good tonight, because you're going to be out of this championship. So good luck, guys. Start them engines and let's go racing.
Alrighty, shout out there to Lonnie Crider with the opening command here this evening as these drivers get ready to go to battle. They get ready to duke it out here this evening as 100 laps of racing action here this evening from Michigan International Speedway. They all get loaded up and ready to roll here this evening. Is starting on the pole, it is our points leader coming into this feature event, the number 6 rider, Brian Underwood. Underwood will start in the pole position. To his outside in the 07, that is Wesley Burke. Starting in position number 3 will be Ryan Stevenson, and back there in that 4th position, the West Virginia ride, that is the 51 of Brandon Dayhuff. Starting in position number 5, and then KFC number 19, that is Melvin Brenger. To his outside in the beautiful 79 ride is the Gaston's iRacing graphics machine of Danny White. Starting in position number 7 in the Gainbridge number 11, that is Kevin Calkins. Into his outside the 31 machine, that's Brandon Holder, rounding out our top 8. Nathan Brookover in the Kiss ride will start in position number 9 with the 99, the high velocity machine. There to his outside, that is Sean Wilder, rounding out our top 10. Starting back in the 11th position, the Dude Wipes and number 76, it's Farrell Robbins back in the 11th position with our Season 2 champion. The number 5 in that beautiful Rubbered Up Productions number 5 machine, it's Josh Crider, rounding out our 6th row here on the racetrack. Starting in 13th in the beautiful Gaston's iRacing graphics number 75 ride, that is the G-Man himself here this evening, Jonathan Gaston. We got a bit of a story to go through here at Gaston in running that 75 here this evening, as Sean Merriman and the Metallica Dr. Pepper machine will start there in 14th. Alex Gates in the 77 will start in 15th with Dustin Slaitler, and that number 15 ride will start to his outside in that Pure Michigan machine. They're in position number 16 here this evening. And then we will see Chris Getz, Ben Gleason, Andrew Floyd, and that Ray Besto's number 10 machine back there as well. Jordan Crider in the 33 ride, that beautiful stable here, that Premium Stock Car Racing League, that Mustang ready to rock and roll here as he'll start back in 19th, as I do believe our driver who qualified in 3rd did not jump out here to start this race. So Ryan Stevenson gonna have to start from pit side here. Hopefully he can get into the action rather quickly and not go a lap down or multiple laps down early on this evening, as Brian Underwood, our points leader, will bring us to the green flag here this evening. Let's see if we can get a good look here. That's the one we were looking for. Our points here to start the season. So right now it is Underwood, Brandon Holder, Josh Crider, Melvin Brenger, Jonathan Gaston, and Danny White, our 6 final playoff drivers here this evening. These 6 drivers, they will continue to duke it out to go to battle and try to put themselves up and in to a winning situation, trying to work their way into our championship 4 here in just a few more weeks. As here we go, ending all the anticipation with our feature presentation, as quickly the 6th rider, Brian Underwood, our back-to-back champion here in the Premium Stock Car Racing League, looking to try to make it 3 in a row if he can find a big championship run again this year. He's already worked his way through the first 2 rounds. He's looking to work his way back inside the championship 4, wanting to duke it out, wanting to go to battle, and wanting to try and pick up the championship at Chicagoland in just a few weeks from now. Next week, it will be Bristol Motor Speedway, so a little short track racing action to really spice things up. And then the beginning of December on the 6th, that's when we will head to into our championship race at Chicagoland Speedway. So Chicagoland, quite a bit like Michigan here. So this could really give you a baseline for our Championship 4 and what we're going to be looking at, what we're going to be seeing out of them, and who's going to really have the car, the runs, the drive to potentially try and win that championship. Could be a little bit of a cheat sheet, a little bit of, look forward here into a few weeks. And right now, it is that 6 of Brian Underwood who continues to lead the way. The 19 of Melvin Brengerer right there in his back bumper. Now we start to see some of our other championship drivers navigating their way to the front. Danny White there in third. Brandon Holder into fourth as Wesley Burke unfortunately falls back now into that 5th position, and he's got that 5 ride quickly of Josh Crider trying to work to his outside. So Crider trying to work his way up 7 spots early in this race, trying to put himself up inside the top 5. Is definitely some big movers up and throughout the field here trying to work themselves into a good position early on. As we look a little farther back, our 6th driver in that championship, the 75 ride here this evening of Jonathan Gaston. He's got that Bourbon Hills Barbecue Gaston iRacing graphics ride hooked up and looking pretty here this evening. Now, he's running a special paint scheme here. Says he's running the 75 ride in honor of one of his favorite dirt track drivers, Bart Hartman. So Bart Hartman paint scheme here this evening. Says this car is also based off of one of his cars that he ran back in 2004. So shout out to the G-Man running a very special paint scheme here this evening, but also shout out to Bart Hartman for the inspiration of this amazing 75 ride out there on the Speedway. So for Gaston, he'll look to continue to try to work this car up towards the front, obviously hoping that it can be a little bit of a lucky charm for him here this evening as he's trying to punch his way into our Championship 4 in a few weeks from now, but he needs to work his way through round number 3. Now you can win this race, punch your ticket into the next round. So if you're Melvin Brengerer, if you're Brian Underwood, Danny White, any of our Championship 6 that are still here in that championship battle, we see 5 of them inside the top 5 right now. They're all duking it out. They're all right on top of each other, knowing how valuable and how important these points are going to be, and having Gaston a little farther back here, definitely not a spot you want to be early on, especially if the drivers in front of you can start to stack up some of these stage points. Even if they don't win the race, it could still slide you farther back here throughout. So you want to be able to get those stage points, but he could be playing a little bit of that strategy game. Tires could play a bit of a factor here this evening. So if this number 72 ride is taking it a little bit easier, maybe he's trying to save a little bit more tire, not wanting to be too quick out there, not wanting to lay down too fast the lap times, and trying to save these tires for later in the run. He may be making his way up and through the field. He may be working his way towards the front of the pack here before the end of this stage. So we'll have to keep an eye on this 75 ride and see if he continues and see if he can try to find his way up towards the front. As Melvin Brengerer does have the race lead. He was able to take it away from that number 6 of Brian Underwood, as Underwood now sits in position number 2, but these guys are tight together, and you start to see some other drivers poking their nose into the fun as Brandon Holder slides back to 7th as Wesley Burke and Nathan Brookover both navigate their way around the 31. So for the 31 of Brandon Holder, he'll have to look to try to gain a few more spots here, as only the top 5 will earn points here in stage number 1. And stage number 1 will end at the completion of lap number 25. Stage number 2 will end at the completion of lap number 50. This is a 100-lap race. You get a couple of those caution flags. You kind of know that you need to try to work yourself into that mind frame of probably running this race in 4 different stages, basically. You'll have this 25-lap run, another 25-lap run to complete our stages, and then we got that 50-lap run to end this race, where we could see it stay clean and green. There could be a few caution flags that could really mix things up, but I feel a lot of these drivers are going to be planning to come back down pit road again on lap number 75, trying to split it into 25, 25, 25, and 25 lap increments here to get to lap 100, as long as fuel can get them there. That could be the big question mark. That could be the big, area where drivers could run into problems here. Could be that fuel mileage, could be the tires. There's so many factors that could help you or hurt you here, and especially in one of our 2 round 3 of the playoffs here, you can't have a mistake. You cannot have a problem. You cannot put yourself into a position where you lose so many positions or potentially even find yourself going a lap down out there on the speedway, and it could take you right out of that championship hunt in a quick hurry and put you into a must-win situation next weekend at Bristol. So for Melvin Brengruer, he's got the race lead. Brian Underwood and Josh Crider right there with them in second and third. Wesley Burke has worked his way back up into that fourth position. So Burke early on kind of fell back a little bit here. Went backwards ever so slightly, but now it's slightly starting to work his way back up here into this mix. He qualified in position number 2. He's clearly got a bit of a fast car, so we'll have to wait and see if he can find that extra speed, that extra grip, work his way around Josh Crider, Underwood, and potentially Melvin Brengruer to try to jump up, steal this win away from one of our playoff drivers and make it that much more of a pressure-filled race. At least if one of the playoff drivers can win next week, we kind of know that he's going to make it into the show. He's going to be there for that championship battle. But if Burke or potentially Nathan Brookover or Alex Gates, one of these drivers that aren't a part of our playoffs anymore, if they can find their way up and into victory lane, it could obviously not lock in one of our championship drivers here this evening into that championship race. So if you're Danny White, you want to pick up the ground here. Obviously Brookover back there in 6th. Brandon Holder, another one of our playoff drivers, now falling back into 7th as Alex Gates right there behind him, as Daniel Hewitt in the chat says, Alex Gates for president, he says, for president. Oh, baby. Alex Gates, you got my vote, brother. You got my vote, my man. Anything that could bring more, more love to the racing community, I'm all for it. That's got to be his first thing, is that everybody, by law, has to go to one race every single year, okay? That's Alex Gates' first bill he's got to put in, is that every person needs to go to at least one race every single year. It's absolutely diabolical, but I think we can make it. We can get that passed through and save all the racetracks here in America, in Canada, in every area, brother, as Alex Gates trying to work his way up towards the front. Currently sits in that 8th position. He's got Dustin Sleitler in that Pure Michigan number 15 rider right there behind him, and then we see Kevin Calkins rounding out our top 10. Brandon Dayhuff and Jonathan Gaston back there rounding out our top 12 as Gaston, our 6th driver in the playoffs here. He's trying to work his way up there, trying to work his way inside the top 10, inside the top 7, and trying to battle here with some of his other championship competitors here this evening. But you start to see a few of these guys falling back a little bit. Some of the other ones starting to, work their way forward, including Jonathan Gaston. He was back in about that 14th, 15th position, now up into 12th. Let's see if he can continue to drive and strive his way up towards the drivers in front of him, even though he has been running still a little bit slower, about half a second slower than all the cars here in front of him. So I'm not sure if Gaston's just trying to save tires for a little later in this stage, or maybe if he's trying to skip out on tires here at the stage break, make things that much more interesting, as we did see one driver already come down pit side here. We saw Sean Merriman. Merriman had to come down pit road, and Sean Wilder also had to make a pit stop here. So a couple drivers making some unscheduled pit stops. Now, I do believe potentially for the number 99 ride, and actually I do believe we did see Ryan Stevenson finally get back out onto the track as well. So for Stevenson, he is a few laps down. That's a tough spot for the 20 ride. Qualified in position number 3 actually here this evening. Missed the start of this race, but now finds himself at least 4 laps down. Now for Sean Wilder, I do believe back on lap number 3, he ended up coming down pit side, had to serve actually looks like he had some damage on this car. Definitely looks like it. I thought maybe he had a penalty, but early on, looks like the HBR ride of Mr. Wilder gets some damage. You see that front bumper, the front right, just not even turning there. So obviously heavy contact into the outside fence. He's got to take it down pit road and use his quick repair up to get this thing back together and back out onto the racetrack. Unfortunately, that has put him a lap down. Now, we also saw Sean Merriman also having to come down pit road here. Unscheduled pit stop back on his lap number 11, but saving grace for him is we're going to see a lot more drivers start to head down pit road. And right now, now we see them start to come down pit side. Here comes Brandon Holder, Alex Gates, Wesley Burke, Kevin Calkins, Jonathan Gaston, Ben Gleason, Chris Getz, Jordan Crider. All these drivers starting to head down pit side as everyone looks like they can't quite make it. 25 laps on a tank of fuel, so that's going to add in a lot more caution, or a lot more pit stops here this evening. As Ronnie Stewart, what's good, Ronnie? Ronnie says, what up, my fellow Aaron? What's good, Ronnie? How are you, mister? As Daniel says, Michigan International Speedway is the best track in the north. I mean, Northern USA, brother. I don't know about the best track in North America. Come on now. There's a lot of great tracks in North America. In the north of the USA, yes. In the north, as in like Canada, I got to put a lot of dirt tracks ahead of that one, brother. I got to put a bunch of dirt tracks in front of it. That is for certain. But, man, definitely a very, very beautiful racetrack, man. Always such good times, good vibes here whenever we see any real-life NASCAR races. And obviously we see the, the fans in the stands and everyone partying down in the infield, man. Always fun to watch. As Ronnie says, does that include drag strips? Hey, I'll include it. I'll include drag strips. I mean, it's not racing for me. I'm not a huge fan of racing in a straight line. But, hey, you know what? I get it. It's a thrill. It's exciting. I'm all for it, man. When it's competition, when it's man and car combined to beat one or the other, I definitely like it. How dare you, says Daniel. How dare you? No, brother. How dare you think that Michigan's the best in the north? Come on now. A lot of beautiful racetracks out there, my boy. A lot of beautiful racetracks out there, man. Especially in the north. Unfortunately for the north, I don't know about you over in Michigan. I know we just got a bunch of snow up here in Canada, so I'm a little farther east, but virtually on that same playing field, maybe a little bit farther north, maybe a little south. All depends. But yeah, we got a bunch of snow there earlier this week, and not a fun time here for us Canadians, man. I hate snow, man. I live in the wrong spot. I'm just not famous enough. I'm not rich enough yet to be able to afford to like move down south and enjoy warm weather all season long. As here we go. Our race leader, Brian Underwood, looks like he's headed down pit side. So Underwood comes down pit road. Here comes Melvin Brengerer, also down pit side. So more green flag pit stops here this evening as we see Josh Crider, Danny White, Nathan Brookover, and Brandon Dayoff all staying out here a little bit longer here in this one. As Neil says, not both America, but northern half of America. Laugh out loud. I could maybe get on board with that. I mean, there's a couple decent ones. There's a few decent racetracks that are in like New York. I mean, I'm down for a couple of those. I mean, they're fairly north-ish. I mean, Chicago, I mean, they got the street course. Not a huge fan of that. And then obviously there's really nothing much farther north other than really New York or Chicago. Like, what is there? I mean, I don't even know. I mean, you get Chicagoland, you get the Chicago street course. I mean, nothing much more north. And I mean, for NASCAR tracks, I would definitely say it's the best of the northern ones for certain. As we do see Crider, Dayhuff, Danny White, looks like they can't make it any farther. And there's one of the mistakes that we were talking about. And it goes to our Season 2 champion. The 5 rider Josh Crider coming down pit road gets a black flag. Too fast entering here for the 5 ride. And unfortunately for Josh Crider, he is going to get a hold down pit side. So for the SpongeBob Mobile here this evening, that Rubbered Up Productions ride, that is going to unfortunately going to cost him a lot here in this one, man. As one of our playoff drivers, is not a fun spot to be in. Luckily enough, there should still be at least one more caution flag after this stage break for the end of stage number 2, so we might be able to get back into it. But it is Brandon Holder who finds himself with the race lead. So Brandon Holder out in front. Brookover trying to hold on to second as Brian Underwood trying to take it away from him. Wesley Burke back there in fourth, and Melvin Brengerer rounding out our top 5. All looking for some stage points now. Ronnie says, we got a little snow in KY. Got a little snow in KY. Okay. And you know what? I take a little snow over a lot of snow any day. Daniel says, New York sucks. Chicago sucks. i.e. Michigan wins. Yeah, 100% on that one, man. Trust me, man. I'm right there, whether it's just the state itself or the political aspects of it, man. I'm not huge on trying to keep the immigrants in America. I don't really like the criminals being here, so I'm definitely on board with you, brother. And those sanctuary cities definitely have to not be a thing. I don't even know why that is a thing. I don't even know why that is why that ever became a thing. Who ever even thought of doing that and making that a possibility? Is not. Not on the top of my list, that is for certain. As Brandon Holder out in front, continue to lead the way, this time by the start-finish line for the 31 ride. He will see that white flag fly here, but here he comes back down pit road. He's going to give up stage points. Brandon Holder back down pit side. I wonder if he didn't get enough fuel into the 31 machine or if he's looking to just try to leapfrog this pit stop right here. But Brandon Holder does make his way back down pit road. That'll hand over the race lead to Brian Underwood. So Underwood maybe looking for the stage win now if he can hold off Nathan Brookover. Brookover, one of our non-playoff drivers, sitting there in second. We'll see how much he hassles Brian Underwood here for the stage win as Wesley Burke a little farther back there in third. Melvin Brengerer back in position number 4. And now Brandon Dayhoff rounding out our top 5 here. Unfortunately for Danny White, Jonathan Gaston, and for Mr. Josh Crider, they're all on the outside of a transfer spot looking in. As Brian Underwood down across the line, he will end up winning stage number 1 here. So Underwood wins that first stage of the day, puts extra couple points into his back pocket here to help him potentially make his way into that championship 4 once again this season. So Brian Underwood with the first stage win of the evening. Brookover back there in second. Wesley Burke in third. Melvin Brengerer, the only other driver here inside our top 5 to earn stage points that is a part of our playoffs. So for Brian Underwood and Melvin Brengerer, that's a big break for them. That's a lot of extra points that they can put into their back pocket that can really help them out in trying to advance into the next round of the playoffs. Brandon Holder will round out our top 5 here as Danny White, one of our playoff drivers there in 6. Unfortunately, no stage points there for him. Dustin Slightler, Kevin Calkins, Gaston back there in 9th. No stage points there for that Bourbon Hills Barbecue number 75, and Alex Gates there in 10th. And unfortunately, you take a look back here at Josh Crider here. Unfortunately for Crider, he is currently sitting in that 1 lap down position, but I do believe that he may be the first and only driver 1 lap down right now. So he's not the only driver a lap down, but I do believe he was in that free pass position. So he was in front of this 10 ride of Andrew Floyd and the 99 of Sean Wilder, so that will put Floyd and Wilder still a lap down. They'll have to look for a wave around here, but it will put Josh Crider into the lucky dog position to actually get his lap back here, to get himself back into the action, back into the battles here, and that's a great break here for one of our playoff competitors. Being trapped a lap down early on is never a fun place to be. Obviously, still sucks for him, missing out on some potential valuable stage points, but at the end of the day, it's a big picture here, and you gotta be there at the end. Maybe pick up a win, even just good solid points in stage 2 or good solid points at the end of the race could be the difference maker on giving up some right now compared to later in the day. But he's gonna have to be careful. He's gonna have to keep an eye on that pit road speed and not give himself another black flag penalty. As here comes Underwood, here comes Wesley Burke, and everybody else will head down pit road. Now, a lot of these drivers probably will look to get some tires right now. We do see pretty much all of our top 4 right now all putting tires on. Does look like Alex Gates a little bit of a quicker pit stop here, so potentially no tires or fuel only here for the 77. So it doesn't look like he gets jacked up or anything. So I do believe for the 77 ride, no tires here for him. All right, so that's a big, bold strategy out of the 77 of Alex Gates here this evening. Going no tires. He may have took tires there at the first pit stop that he made early in the evening here on that first green flag pit stop. But now with this caution flag, where it kind of falls and where these drivers are going to be, now it's the big question about stage number 2. And how far you want to run it. We saw some drivers there able to make it virtually about 20 laps on a tank of fuel. Now the big key question will be, How far can you stretch it? Can you save enough fuel? Will it matter if you save enough fuel that you still will keep a lot of these drivers that will make an additional pit stop back behind you? But if you can save some fuel here during this caution flag, maybe even head right back down pit road before we get that one to go. Make sure we get this thing absolutely topped up and then try to stretch that fuel. And I think that's what we're going to see out of the 6th ride. Brian Underwood, Gaston, maybe on the same page here. He's going back down pit road. Here comes Danny White as well. So they're going to give up the track position. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to try to save that, 2 or 3 laps potentially of fuel that they may need to get to the end of the stage without having to make an additional pit stop, and in turn trying to give themselves that extra bit that they need to potentially win this stage. Sean Merriman also coming back down pit road as the Dr. Pepper Cherry Metallica ride hits pit sign here, and he'll get the same treatment. He's going to go for the same thing. So a lot of these drivers already working on the strategy here this evening, so that's going to make things very, very fun. As out in front, it's Wesley Burke. Burke has that race lead. He'll get ready to set these drivers loose as Alex Gates in position number 2 here this evening. So Gates there in second. He'll get ready to try to battle here for the race lead. Now we'll have to wait and see if the newer tires around him potentially may make a big enough difference that it may hurt his chances here. I mean, he only really ran a couple laps on him, but let's wait and see how this one plays out. As Daniel says, Alex Gates once fought a bear and won by knockout 15 seconds in. Yo, that's mad respectful right there, man. That is mad crazy, and no cap, brother, no cap. That's pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely would vote for Alex Gates for president, 100%. As here we go, getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, stage 1 into the history books here in Michigan, and stage number 2 gets underway as the 07 of Wesley Burke. Great launch, great start there through that Geico restart zone. He's able to clear Alex Gates, and now Brandon Dayhoff will follow him right on through into position number 2 as Alex Gates up on the high side lane. Unfortunately, just not quick enough back onto that loud pedal, and unfortunately falls back a few spots, and down through 1 and 2 will lose at least another spot or 2 here to the 27 of Brookover and potentially the 31 of Brandon Holder. As we take a little farther look back here, we do see some of these other drivers maybe starting to just try to work the strategy here, work their luck here, and trying to make it here in this stage without having to make an additional pit stop here this evening. So for Brian Underwood, Danny White, Jonathan Gaston, Sean Merriman, they've played that strategy. They've shown their hand. If this is the game plan that they're going with, then they may have to see what they can do here and see if they can try to save that couple extra laps to make it to the end of this stage. But right now, it's all Wesley Burke, but it may not be for long as the Kiss ride, the 27, Nathan Brookover working his way back up into the battle here at the front of the field. We saw him battling there with that number 6 of Brian Underwood at the end of the stage for the stage win. Underwood was able to get the advantage on him, but now here he is once again battling his way up and into second, trying to find a run underneath of that 07 ride. Unfortunately, down the front straightaway, the draft here going to be very, very nice to the outside lane, and now it's going to give a run to the 31 of Brandon Holder. Holder's now looking for the race lead. Holder was in position to win stage number 1 here this evening, gave up those points, came down pit side, and now finds himself 3 wide for the race lead, and unfortunately no stage points in his back pocket. So that's a potential big mistake, potentially a great idea out of that 31 here this evening. Whether or not it's to have those stage points, look out, oh, there's contact, they're stacking up, look out. Oh, Alex Gates is around the 15 ride of Dustin Sleightler's in there. We saw Brandon Dayhoff get collected, man, and there was a few other drivers that ended up with some pretty solid contact in this one. A bunch of our playoff drivers just trying to get checked up, trying to keep themselves out of it, including Underwood, Danny White, and Josh Crider, who are a little deeper in the field. But let's take a look back and see how this one kind of gets started. Obviously, there was a little bit of movement up here, I do believe, with that 31 right of Brandon Holder. So if you watch Holder right here, He's hoping to get a good run. He's hoping to stay to the inside of the 0-7 ride and side draft him down the front straightaway. Unfortunately, really not getting the run he was hoping for, so he tries to jump back up in line here in between the 0-7 and the 77, and I think he kind of misjudges it, and at the same time, looks like the 15 kind of just in the wake of the air off the 31 ride. He is going to travel up the racetrack here and make some contact with the 77 machine of Alex Gates. So right here, you're going to watch the 15 ride. Going to get that dirty air onto his car, washes up the racetrack into that left rear quarter panel of the 77 ride. Down the racetrack he goes, and all of a sudden, nowhere for the 11 of Kevin Calkins and one of our playoff drivers, Melvin Brenger, right in the middle of it. Wilder's in there as well, so an unfortunate break for Sean Wilder as he slides in there, gets some heavy contact as well a couple times, then up and into the outside fence. Here comes Brandon Dayhoff in there as well. Hard contact into the driver's side door of the 77, and there is a lot of damage here down into corner number 1, man. A lot of drivers that unfortunately kind of get tore up, kind of get destroyed here down the front stretch and into corner number 1. Gates is the first one to get the contact, though, as he gets hit right here in the quarter panel, and around he goes. Woo! Not much you can do except for hang on and hope for the best, and unfortunately, not a whole lot of that, as there's a lot of drivers that slammed into the side of him, up and into the outside fence before that car finally comes to a rest. Let's take a look here. On board with Melvin Brenger, so this is one of our playoff drivers trying to navigate his way back up inside the top 5, back up towards the front, and all of a sudden, right to his right-hand side of the windshield, there we go. You see the 77-15 come down, and all of a sudden these guys are parked right onto his lap and getting some pretty solid damage out of that one. Let's take a look back at Sean Wilder's perspective. He's right behind that 19 ride, so as he gets in here, there you go, sees him starting to go around, tries to get to the middle to get out of the way. Unfortunately, not enough time to react, not enough time to get up and out of the way there. Ends up getting some hard contact, a few pieces of good hard contact into it, and unfortunately, it's going to tear up a lot of race cars, and that's going to bring a lot of drivers down pit road here. Unfortunately, we didn't see Sean Merriman or Jonathan Gaston come down pit side, so I'm not sure what the strategy call will be here for these two, but they stay out. They're hoping that this caution flag can save them enough fuel that they can get to the end of this race without having to, probably not having to make another pit stop until the end of this stage. So trying to get to the end of the stage, the completion of lap number 50. Maybe this strategy will play out. Maybe it'll work perfectly to their advantage. We did see Wesley Burke, Brandon Holder, Ben Gleason, Brookover, Crider, Getz, Underwood, Danny White all come back down pit road here. They're good on field to go to the end of this stage. Same with Josh Crider back there in that 5 ride. Dustin Sleitler was able to get his car repaired. He's back out there. The 77 ride at Gates. He's got his car repaired. He'll be jumping back out there ready to rumble once again. And for Melvin Brenger, unfortunately for Brenger, he did come down pit road. He is still on the lead lap. He had used that quick repair to get this car back up and going. But unfortunately for the 19 ride, looks like he may have gotten a black flag down pit side. And for one of our playoff drivers, man, this is a very tough place to be. Another black flag and another problem here for one of our playoff drivers here this evening. So for Brenger, he's going to have to make a pass-through penalty here, potentially a stop-and-go penalty down in his pit stall here as we go back to green flag racing. And if you're the 19 ride, you just got to hope that you keep yourself on the lead lap, or at least stay as that one car, one lap down. Keep yourself in that free pass position. As of right now, I do believe the 11 ride, even with the damage here still on this Game Bridge machine, still on the lead lap. So it is Ryan Stevenson who is the first car and the only car right now that's still rolling that's a lap down. And luckily enough, for that 19 ride of Melvin Brenger, Stevenson is multiple laps down still. So for Brenger, even if he does lose a lap at the end of the stage, he should get that lucky dog back on the lead lap, should be able to get back into the action here this evening, but you definitely want to make sure you keep yourself right in that picture frame and try to keep yourself in that lucky dog spot. Unfortunately for Sean Wilder, man, tough break here for Wilder. Down pit road, excessive damage there. I do believe he had already used that quick repair with contact up and into the outside fence early on in this race. So unfortunately, Wilder's down pit side, and he may be down there for an extended period of time. As here we go back to green flag racing, as Daniel Hewitt says Alex Gates helps people cross the street. Man, that is a gentleman and a scholar right there for Alex Gates, man. Helping people across the street. That's low-key a fire move right there, man. I like that. I like that, man. Helping someone cross the street, that is a very, very classy move. And Sean Merriman leads the way. It's Jonathan Gaston right there in second. Gaston's looking to try to lead his first laps of the day as our sixth playoff driver, who's been kind of a little deeper in the field for the most part, but now up here battling and now trying to hold off this 31 as Gaston wants to lead a lap here, and it looks like Brandon Holder will push him across the line here. So for the G-Man, he does lead a lap number 37 here this evening, but quickly you see Holder to the outside, looking to make that move, looking to make his way back around him here and trying to put himself into the top spot, knowing that points are on the line here, getting those stage points back from all the drivers that were able to earn some early in the day are going to be very, very key to keep your playoff dreams alive here this evening. So for the 75 and the 31, they're going to continue to duke it out here for this top spot, and with them being door to door, it's going to just bring some of our other playoff drivers that much closer. As here comes Danny White in the 79 ride. Brian Underwood's back there in 11th. He's got Crider right down to his inside in that 5 machine, as we do see, unfortunately for Melvin Brengruer, he is down pit road. He is serving his penalty. Man, this penalty looks like it may be a long one, chat. Came down pit road on lap number 37. He is now already 1 lap down. He may go 2 laps down here. That is a mistake. That is a problem you cannot have, as Brandon Holder and the rest of the field coming with a big head of steam down into corner number 1 for Brengruer, trying to keep himself 1 lap down. He's just starting to build up that speed down through corner 1 and 2. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold these guys up. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to keep himself in front of the pack, as here they come out of corner number 2 here on the Speedway. Brandon Holder leading the way. There's contact back there behind him. Look out, it's Nathan Brookover. Hard contact into the outside fence here for the 27 ride. The Kiss machine with debris, sparks flying here down the back straightaway. Unfortunately, no one else coming behind him. No caution flag on the racetrack. We keep it clean and green here in this one. Tough break there for the 27 ride. He'll have to come down pit road. Hopefully still has that quick repair in his back pocket. But for Jonathan Gaston in the 31 of Mr. Holder, they are still duking it out. They are still battling. And you see the 6th rider, Brian Underwood, just as we were kind of going through the field here, he was back in about that 11th position. He had that 5 rider, Crider, right there with him. But now look out, around goes the 31. Caution flag will come back out. Yellow flag, yellow flag. And this is a great break for that number 19 machine of Melvin Brengruer, as Brengruer was in the lucky dog position. That is a huge break there for that 19 ride here this evening, as he will get the wave around the lucky dog back on the lead lap, as there was heavy contact here between our race leaders, Jonathan Gaston and the 31 ride of Brandon Holder. Let's take a look back and see what happens, as obviously for the 31, he ends up with the worst case of this end of the deal here. And let's take a look. So they're door-to-door, down and out of corner number 2. Gaston's trying to catch the handle of it, trying to keep the thing pointed back in the right direction. Right here, they're straight, and then sure if the 75 was just trying to potentially just try to side draft off this 31 ride. Wasn't clear, and just kind of drives up and drives into that left rear quarter panel of the 31. That's going to spin him sideways right there, almost getting airborne, almost going for a ride here at Michigan. Unfortunately, though, nonetheless, still spins this 31 ride around. He goes for a couple loop-de-loops. Now, lucky break is not major damage to either the 31 or to that number 72 ride, so that is a great break for both drivers, but still, this is going to hurt their chances and opportunities here this evening if they've got to make additional pit stops, come down pit side, and take themselves out of this race. As looks like a little bit of a fake out right there for the 6th machine of Underwood, but we do see Wesley Burke come down pit side, Sean Merriman's down pit road, Austin Sleitler Andrew Floyd, Kevin Calkins, Brandon Dayhoff, Brandon Holder, obviously looking to get repairs and new tires potentially onto this 31 ride. Brookover coming back down pit road as well. Obviously, this Kiss ride has seen a lot better days here, but somehow or another, that timely caution flag kept him on the lead lap, so that's a great break here for the 27. Let's see if he's got a quick repair in his back pocket that he can use, and the crew can... Yeah, there it is. All right, quick repair for the 27 ride. So he is back into the battle. He is back into the action here. A lucky caution flag keeps him on the lead lap, keeps him into this fight. And for that number 19 of Melvin Brengerer, we see him up to full speed here. He gets that wave around back on the lead lap here for the KFC machine. So, for Melvin Brengerer, back into the battle as well, and obviously now with another couple caution flags, could bring this 20 rider, Ryan Stevenson, back into the hunt here at the front as well, and unfortunately it looks like Sean Wilder has called it a night here this evening in that 99 ride. So tough break right there for Sean. Definitely not a great time, definitely not a fun time there, as definitely... Never a fun time to have something like that happen or to run into an issue or have some sort of a problem here in this one, as you have those problems, you have those issues, and unfortunately it can end your night in a quick hurry. It can obviously put you into a position where, you know, all of a sudden you're in the hunt for potentially a good points day, a good day at the Speedway, and trying to earn those points, and all of a sudden those points get taken away from you there, as we did see the contact between the 72 and the 31. You take a look here for it's actually 75 right here tonight. The 75 of Gaston, he finds himself still up here at the front. He's rolling in that second position. May have a little bit of contact now on that 75 right, so we'll have to wait and see if he can hold on to a top 5 run, try to earn some stage points. Obviously, that helps Brian Underwood and Crider out a little bit. A couple less drivers that they may have to contend with for stage points. It brings Danny White inside the top 5 as well. And unfortunately for Brandon Holder, he's now back in about the 10th position, and for this 31 machine, he's going to have to try to rebound. He's going to have to try to battle his way up there late in this stage to try to earn any kind of stage points here today. He's down in through the back straightaway here. You see everyone getting ready to rumble here once again, as this will be a bit of a short run here to the end of the stage. And now for the 72 ride of Jonathan Gaston. He should be good on fuel. A couple yellow flags, quite a few caution laps here during this stage. Definitely helps him out a ton, and definitely gets the G-Man kind of a little bit more closer to that fuel window where he should be safe and shouldn't have to worry about the fuel heading towards the end of this stage, as we will have about a 6-lap run to finish off stage number 2 here this evening. But the race leader at the time of the caution flag is that 6th rider, Brian Underwood. So for Underwood, he's getting ready to see this green flag fly. He's getting ready to try to work his way up and into another stage win. Some more big points for the 6th ride hanging in the looms here this evening, as the 6 of Brian Underwood gets the green flag, gets a great launch, looking and hoping to clear that 75 of Jonathan Gaston. Gaston, though, looking to hang right there to his right-hand side, as here comes the 5 ride of Josh Crider. Crider's going to send it deep down low. He's looking for a big run down through 1 and 2, but the 6th ride able to hold them both off, and it is Brian Underwood who will lead us down the back straightaway, but a big move down to the inside. Here comes Jonathan Gaston. He'll look to try to work his way around the 6s. Oh, baby, he gets tight. He pushes up the racetrack almost into that left rear quarter panel of that number 6. That could have almost taken out that 6th rider, Brian Underwood. That would have been a huge mistake and a big uh-oh there for a couple of the playoff drivers again, as Josh Crider right there in second. He's looking to try to take over this race lead. Ben Gleason now up and into position number 3 with Danny White and Chris Getz rounding out our top 5, as you do see the 31 ride pushing the 75 of Gaston down the back straightaway. Unfortunately here for Gaston, really just falling back here, so potentially that damage a little bit too much to overcome here. Obviously tight down through corner 3 and 4, almost got up into the 6 machine there on their first green flag lap, so I think that damage being a little bit more extensive than what I think he thought it was, and that's really going to hurt him here this evening, as again it'll be a potential another stage without any stage points for this Gaston's iRacing Graphics ride. But for Brandon Holder, he's working his way back up here. He's trying to navigate his way inside the top 5, as you do see the 79 ride of Danny White pancake that outside fence down into corner number 2, as the 31 looking for a big run, trying to work his way inside the top 5, trying to earn these stage points. Can he pick up a couple more spots with Farrell Robbins, Danny White, and Ben Gleason right there in front of him? But it is all Brian Underwood, as Underwood will click off another lap, and we now have 47 laps completed. 3 laps left to go here in stage number 2. So 3 laps left here in this stage for drivers to duke it out, to go to battle, to continue to keep on fighting here for those extra points to put into their back pocket to help them out here in trying to advance into the next round of our playoffs here this evening. So for the 6 of Underwood right there in the top spot, just trying to hold these guys off, wanting to keep them back there behind him here in this one. Obviously some massive stage points on the line here. Big stage points, a big ability to potentially get himself back into the battle, back into the fun, and back into the action here for the season, and potentially for that next season as well. Would be a big up there for that number 6 ride. Obviously getting all those extra points, getting everything that could be put into his back pocket, and trying to help him attend our championship for potentially a 3rd race in a row here in this one, as 3rd championship potentially in a row for Brian Underwood, hanging in the wind right now, as he will click off another lap. And we get 1 lap left to go here in this stage, as Crider sits in 2nd, Gleason there in 3rd, Farrell Robbins in position number 4. But you do see Brandon Holder, I keep saying Brian, Brandon Holder there in position number 5. So Holder is in a spot right now, but he's going to lean on one of our other playoff drivers as they're bouncing off each other down and out of corner number 2. The 31 trying to hold off this 79 ride of Danny White. Danny White trying to put himself up inside the top 5 as well, as you do see Alex Gates sliding on through there. The 76 ride still there as well, and back down across the line, and able to win stage number 1 and 2 here this evening. It's Brian Underwood. Underwood picks up both stage wins here this evening. Josh Crider will come home in 2nd there. That's a great rebound for him after getting no stage points there in stage number 1. So for the 5 ride, finishes off in position number 2, and the 3 drivers back behind them are non-playoff drivers. So Ben Gleason, Farrell Robbins, and Alex Gates will round out our top 5. They will earn stage points, but they are not a part of the playoffs, so it doesn't really mean much for those 3 drivers. Unfortunately, though, a few of these cats right there behind him means a ton. Brandon Holder, no stage points here this evening. Danny White will come home in the 8th position. No stage points here in stage number 2 for that 79 ride. And unfortunately for the 75 of Jonathan Gaston, no stage points for him, and no stage points for Melvin Brengrer as well. So obviously a couple of our playoff drivers, definitely not a lot of fun right there, as man, the 75 ride was about to come down pit road. Bourbon Hills Barbecue, number 75, thinks, you know what, I can make it another lap here. He's going to stay out. He's not going to come down pit road as of yet. And for Mr. Gaston, obviously not a fun spot to be here at the back of the pack. Has that damage. Will look to try to get that repair, try to get himself back into the battle. As Sean Wilder in the chat says, yeah, not a fun one. Got spun in 3 on lap 1 and got caught up in that big wreck. Meatballed twice in 30 laps. Yeah, that's tough, brother. That's tough. That is tough. Never a fun spot to be, man. Never a fun spot to be. Never good thing when you're 30 laps into a race, you've already used that quick repair up, and you've already, unfortunately, ran into a slew of issues and have that, minutes or hours of repairs, and unfortunately, just really no longer in the battle, man. That's a tough spot to be, obviously. Let's see if we can go back here to the opening lap. Let's go back to the opening lap here, see if we can figure out what happened here to Sean Wilder. So Wilder starting in about the 10th position. Let's take a look here at the 99 ride. Said when did this happen? Corner 3 and 3 on lap 1. Okay, so let's take a look here. See what happens here on lap number 1 to the 99 ride. We saw him come down pit road with the damage in the HBR ride. Let's take a look right here. So they head in and made a little contact right there between the 11 and the 99. And then right here, oh yeah, there it is. Oh man, that is tough break right here. So there's contact beforehand as he comes into the corner. Definitely looks like netcode for certain, and that's tough, man. That's tough. Lap 1, having netcode and having that kind of damage is never a fun thing as you watch 76 kind of come in there. He's not going to hit him, but the netcode just knocks him sideways here. Unfortunately for the 99, he goes sideways. 76 of Farrell Robbins will finally get into him there as the 99's virtually parked in front of him. That's where we saw all that damage come from as he bounces it up and off the outside fence here. And obviously that's what did him in early. We saw him go down pit road and unfortunately have that damage. And now we find the culprit of why and where that damage came from. And then obviously being collected in that big one down into corner number 1. Just wrong place, wrong time in that one as well, man. You're right there behind the 19 ride. And unfortunately for Brenger, he got tied up in that as well as one of our playoff drivers. And you were following right behind him, tried to jump to the outside, tried to get out of it. Unfortunately, there's nowhere to go as they kind of tracked you back up the racetrack there and right into your lap. And that's racing, man. That is racing right there. Unfortunately, the net code started it off for you. Obviously, if there was no net code, then you wouldn't have that problem to begin with, and you wouldn't be back there behind the 8-ball. But we do see a few of these drivers trying to play some different strategies. So Sean Merriman did not come down pit road. Now, Kevin Calkins, Wesley Burke, they did come down pit side. Same with Underwood, Ben Gleason, Josh Crider, and pretty much the rest of the field all came down pit road there on lap number 52. We see the 27 ride back down pit side. So isn't Jonathan Gaston as well after he had to use his quick repair there to get his car repaired and back up to, battle ready. And for Brian Stevenson, a couple more caution flags for this 20 ride. No one else goes a lap down here. Potentially could get himself back on a lead lap as well. Only a couple laps down now at this point. So slowly but surely working himself back into the battle for our third fastest driver in qualifying. Unfortunately missed the start of this race. Started it virtually 4 or 5 laps down. But here he is battling his way back into the action. But we could see this stay clean and green. We could see 0 caution flags from this point going forward. But that is a lot of laps. And obviously we're going to see at least 1, maybe even 2 more pit stops into these drivers. I think if you're the 81 right of Sean Merriman, you're looking to kind of flip this stage here. So I think for this number 81 ride, he had last come down pit road around lap number 42. I feel like we're going to see him come down pit side somewhere around lap number 61, lap number 62, and then he'll be back down pit road around lap number 81, lap number 82, knowing that he can make it to the end of this race. The fuel is there. He's only going to make those 2 other pit stops. Everyone else also has to make 2 pit stops. So if he can keep the track position, keep himself into a good spot, potentially use the fresher tires, kind of splitting the stages up a little bit, may help him out, may be into his advantage here later in this race. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out for that 81 machine as he does get a great restart, a good launch here, able to keep Wesley Burke back there at bay as Josh Crider up into third. Underwood right there in fourth, trying to hold on to it as he's got the 11 ride of Kevin Calkins down to his inside. So Calkins trying to race his way up towards the front here. So is in Farrell Robbins, and that 77 of Alex Gates. Gates right there, ready to party hard here is that Mission 22. Number 77 ride up and into that 7th position, but he does see Danny White able to get a big run down the straightaway there, edge out in front of him ever so slightly. Dustin Sleitler right there in that battle, as well as the number 51 of Brandon Dayhoff. Brandon Holder back there just outside the top 10. We'll see if this target number 31, right, one of our playoff drivers, can work his way back up towards the front of the field. We gotta wonder, can Melvin Brenger, can that 75 of Jonathan Gaston, our other 2 playoff drivers deeper in the field here, can they work their way back up through the traffic and back up here towards the front? And then it may come down to those couple green flag pit stops during this green flag run. A couple of those caution flags could really help them out or could really hurt these drivers that may try to play a little bit of a different pit strategy. And obviously, for a lot of these cats, you know, you get caught speeding down pit road, you run into an issue. We already saw that already with the 5 ride at Josh Crider, with Melvin Brenger, who had a black flag. Both those drivers having those black flag issues cost them a lap out there on the racetrack. So having a black flag, having that hold, could potentially put you a lap down here at the Speedway, and losing a lap during a green flag run where you don't know if you will get another caution flag, another opportunity to get yourself back into this race, is just not a spot you want to be. It's definitely not a good place to be if you're a playoff driver. So right now they're all in the lead lap. They all got clean cars, but look out, there we go. There is one of those yellows as we see a couple cats going around. They're still wrecking, and it's the 76 of Farrell Robbins goes for a big spin down the back straightaway here. My gosh, that was a chaotic spin here for this number 76. Let's take another look at it as he's going to come out of core number 2. Now, I do believe it's the 11 ride of Kevin Calkins down to his inside, and the Calkins just going to get up there, maybe a little net code off of him, bounces off the 19 of Melvin Brenger, then back up the racetrack here. Hard contact into the fence, and then right into the lap of Andrew Floyd, man. Floyd really just know where to go, but again, around this 11 car, man, it looks like a little bit of net code here. I'm not sure if he was going to make contact with him, whether or not, but you see the 76 push up using the outside lane, and the 11 kind of comes up a little bit. There's the net code. 76 starts to go around, and as he does, there's contact right there between him and the 19. So for Melvin Brenger, he ends up getting some contact and damage into that as well. But it's all about this 76 coming back up the racetrack, and watch this 10 right. He's off the throttle. He's trying to get checked up. Chris gets just avoids him. The 10's trying to keep himself out of the way as the 76 bounces off the outside fence. And look at the 33. Somehow squeeze him through there, man. I don't know how Jordan Crider made it through that one, but let's see if we can jump on board here with this 10 ride of Floyd. Take a look on board the helmet cam of this number 10 ride. See what he can see here from the cockpit. So right here, he's going to see a bit of smoke. Cars going around, and all of a sudden, here comes the 76 right back in front of him. Tries to get to the left to avoid it, and unfortunately just could not avoid running into that 76 machine. Let's see if we can get another look here from, see if we can get a look from the 33 ride of Jordan Crider. Crider had a crazy view of this. So he's behind the 10 ride. All of a sudden, here he comes. He's a little bit lower down the racetrack. Sees 76 right there. Then all of a sudden, bam, bam, bam. And all of a sudden, he's going to make some wild moves. And then they keep wrecking down here into core number 3. I do believe that is the 11 of Calkins, the 27 and the 20 ride, all getting tied together there again as well. So let's take a look here at the 11 of Kevin Calkins. So Calkins going to make contact here. He's the car in the middle here, that black and yellow car. So a little bit of contact, net code there with the 76. Around goes the 76 right now. He's checked up, and it looks like Gaston. Oh, man, Gaston, another one of our playoff drivers, getting tied up in one of these wrecks. Says, man, another couple big hits back here as well. So he's checked up here, obviously losing a lot of speed, a lot of time after the contact right here between him and the 76. So he's kind of checked it down. Now you watch the 75 and the 27. They split this 11 ride, and it looks like for the 75, he's coming back up the racetrack. The 11's kind of coming down, and for Kevin Calkins, just ends up kind of getting into the 75 right. I just don't know if they just run out of room right here. If you watch the 11, kind of central to that black line. 75's definitely coming up, but you start to see the 11 coming down. And they're just going to get tied together here, and they're both going to wash up the racetrack. Finally, 11 runs up into the back end of the 27. Nathan Brook over in the 75 right, get tied together. Here comes Ryan Stevenson into the 11 right. Big hit there for Stevenson, as well as more carnage down the back straightaway. And finally, you'll see this 11 right backer into the fence right there. So a lot of contact, a lot of tore up race cars, and unfortunately, a lot of drivers going to have to be parked down pit road to try to get these things repaired, to try to get them fixed up and back into the action. As Yo213 somewhere in the house says ouch in the chat. Ouch is right. There's definitely a lot of hurt race cars out there after that contact, and obviously, yeah, definitely a big ouchie for a lot of these drivers, especially some of our playoff drivers like Gaston, like that number 19 of Melvin Brengerer. A lot of these guys getting some pretty solid contact out of that, and we did see everyone come down pit road there on lap number 59, so I think for Sean Merriman, I don't know if that strategy really going to work out for the 81 ride. He did have to come down pit side with everybody else. Now, he was kind of right at his fuel window. He was getting right towards it there, so kind of just eliminates his strategy and kind of puts everyone back onto a level playing field here. So it looks like it'll probably be, from this point on, going to be probably a one-stop race. Now, there may be a couple drivers that may gamble, may try to make it into a two-stop race still, especially if you're hard on the throttle, if you're running a lot of hard laps. You may have to come down pit road a couple times more here in this race, but I think for a lot of these drivers, their game plan will probably be to come down pit road somewhere around lap number 80, maybe try to stretch it to lap 81, and then get fired off in an underway here. So they did come down pit road on lap 59. They were able to go back green flag racing here on lap number 61. So saving a little bit of fuel, potentially having that extra little bit in their back pocket. They should be good on fuel here with one more pit stop here this evening. So it's on like Donkey Kong now, as everybody will looking to just keep on racing, battling hard, and trying to put themselves up and into victory lane. As Josh Crider leads the way, it's Brandon Holder in second. Couple drivers scrape that outside fence on the exit of corner number 2, as you do see that 07 of Wesley Burke up and into third. Brian Underwood right there in position number 4, now looking for more, but here comes Brengerer down to his inside. Brengerer looking to work his way back up towards the front of the field as, look out. Oh, man, the 6th ride got a little bit loose right there. Got a little bit of contact from Alex Gates in the shorts right there, trying to get him moving down the front straightaways. Now here comes Danny White. Danny White and Brengerer, they're going to make a little bit of contact there. A little rubbing and scrubbing, maybe a little elbow grease going into that one right there. Is a bit of a hip check from the 79 ride, as Danny White will make that pass here on the 19 of Brengerer, sliding Brengerer back to 7th. Danny White now up inside the top 5 as Sean Merriman trying to navigate his way back to the front. Here comes Chris Getz. Here comes Farrell Robbins and Ben Gleason, Andrew Floyd and Crider back there as well. But it's all about their playoff drivers here. The first race of stage number 3 in our playoffs, our third round of these playoffs, and for 6 drivers that remain in our playoffs, their dream for the championship here is still alive, but they need to have a good run here tonight, knowing that next weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway will be our final elimination race, which will build the stage here for our Championship 4 in a few weeks' time. So, for the 75 of Gaston, he needs to try to navigate his way towards the front. Really hasn't had any stage points here this evening in that 75 ride, so he needs to get everything he can so that way he can stay pace with the rest of our championship competitors. If you're Josh Crider, Brandon Holder, Underwood, Danny White, you're up inside the top 4. You've all earned some good stage points, especially for Brian Underwood. Actually, I don't think Holder has earned any stage points here this evening as well. So for Brandon Holder, no stage points in his back pocket. For Brian Underwood, he was able to win both the stages. He's definitely sitting pretty right now, and now sitting in position number 2. Brian Underwood, he's hoping that he can just navigate his way into another hunt here for another championship, as he's looking for 3 championships in a row, man. Absolutely insane run for that number 6 ride. His drivers down and across the line here will click off another lap, and now 65 laps completed here in this race. 65 laps completed. It is only 35 more laps left to go here this evening from Michigan International Speedway. As the 5 of Josh Crider continues to lead the way, we will jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, jump into the comment section right now and cheer on your favorite drivers. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, as 34 laps left to go here in this feature event as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, a beautiful crank it up there by all of our amazing drivers here this evening as they give us the sights and sounds around Michigan International Speedway here this evening. It's Brian Underwood who has the race lead, but they're 2-3 wide looking for the top spot as they completed lap number 80 here on the Speedway. So 80 laps now into the history books, and for these drivers, that is going to open up this fuel window. When will we see them start to come down pit road to make their final pit stops of the day? Who will make the call? Who will be the first to come down pit road? If you got the fuel, do you stretch it another lap or two, hoping to use the fresher tires to your advantage a little later in the run? Or you give up too much that it may not be worth your time, as we do see a few drivers now make their way down pit side. Brandon Dayoff, Andrew Floyd, Ben Gleason all come down pit road, and now here comes a lot of the rest of the field here, and some of these drivers got to be careful. You do not want to earn a black flag down pit road. It could end your chances here in a quick hurry. As Brian Underwood leads us down pit side, Crider's right there with him. Brandon Holder, Danny White, Sean Merriman, Dustin Seitler, Alex Gates, and Brenger all come down pit road here as this second wave of drivers make their pit stops. For Jonathan Gaston, he'll stay out for at least another lap. So does in Wesley Burke and that number 33 of Jordan Crider. So they are going to stay out a little bit longer here, at least a lap. And now here we go. The Bourbon Hills Barbecue. Number 75 right heads down pit road. He's got to get checked up. You cannot get a penalty. Oh, so far it looks like everyone's been cleared. Everyone is good. No pit road speeding penalties as of yet, as we do see Underwood is able to come out of the pits here. Looks like he may be able to hang on to the race lead, as it is Dustin Sleitler back there behind him. When does that second group come up? Here we go. We start to see Brandon Holder, the 5 rider Crider. Here comes Brandon Dayoff, who pitted back on lap number 80. He's got some speed and momentum built up, so he's looking to try to get around this 31 and that 5 ride. Where does Wesley Burke? Where does Jonathan Gaston and Jordan Crider roll into the picture here? Where can they jump into the battle out there on the Speedway as our race leaders are just starting to go around them here? What will be the difference, and will their one extra lap here be a big difference maker? Having that 1 lap better tires, will it become an issue here for some of these other cats late in this race as Brian Underwood continues to lead the way? He's looking to try to run away with this one, trying to win another race and maybe try to lock himself in to our championship 4 once again this year. As Lonnie Crider says, the racing getting better every week. Let's go, he says. Let's go, Lonnie. You know it, man. You know it. The racing just keeps getting better and better here at the Premium Stock Car Racing League. And here tonight, man, some absolutely amazing action. And now after those pit stops, honestly, things a little bit more broken open. We'll have to wait and see if maybe drivers back here, you know, outside the top 2 with a little bit of extra draft, a couple of cars with them, maybe they can try to form together, see if they can run some faster lap times and reel these drivers in front of them in, as the 15 of Dustin Sleitler, the 6 of Brian Underwood are hoping that they cannot catch up to them, hoping that they can keep this gap, keep that kind of a bit of a comfort zone, especially for Underwood, knowing that he's in the race lead right now. He's got 16 laps left to go here in this race, and to win this would lock him in to our championship 4, meaning that he would have an opportunity to battle again this season for potentially his 3rd championship in a row. So for Underwood, he knows how to get it done. He knows when it's time to shine. He knows when it is time to turn up the wick. And here tonight, Ryan Underwood looks like he may be in that best position possible. Right now, the gap is about 0.8 seconds between himself and Dustin Sleitler. So 0.8 seconds between 1st and 2nd, and about the same gap back to our 3rd place driver, Wesley Burke, as Burke and Josh Crider, the 31 rider Brandon Holder, they'll be looking to chase down our race leaders here this evening. Jonathan Gaston comes out of the pits in a good position here. He sits in 6. This isn't a bad spot here for that 75 ride here this evening. We'll see if he can make some late race moves and see if he can work his way up into the battle here at the front as Brandon Dayoff, Sean Merriman, Danny White a little farther back here in 9th. He's got Farrell Robbins, Chris Getz right there with him, and the 11 ride of Mr. Kevin Calkins. Unfortunately for Calkins, he is a few laps down in that Game Bridge number 11 ride as he sits back at about the 18th position, meaning that we do have a few other cats a little deeper back here. There's the 19 rider, Melvin Brenger, Alex Gates deep in the field. Jordan Crider, Ben Gleason, Andrew Floyd still in the lead lap, but they are back rounding out our top 16 here on the Speedway. So our top 16 still on the lead lap, but it's about a 17-second gap between these two and our race leader, Brian Underwood. But for Underwood, he had that 0.8 of a second lead. He's seen it disappear rather quickly. This 15 rider, Dustin Sleitler, is reeling him in. He is closing the gap here on this 6th ride. For Josh Crider in this second group back here behind Sleitler, they've closed the gap a little bit, not too much, maybe not enough that they're right there with that 15 ride. So maybe they're kind of on the same strategy as the 6 of Underwood. Maybe they got to take it a little bit easy. Maybe they still got to save a little bit of fuel. Maybe they're just trying to make sure that they got some tire left over for later in this run, because you don't want to burn your stuff up too quickly here in this run. And that may be what Dustin Sleitler is doing. He may be using up his tires. He may be burning them up, where once he catches this 6th rider, Brian Underwood may have a lot left in the tank and may be able to just keep him back there at bay and just pull back away from this 15 ride. So for the Pure Michigan New Holland Brewing Company number 15 ride, we'll have to wait and see what Dustin Sleitler can do late in this race to try to get his Ford Mustang up and into victory lane and play spoiler here to some of our playoff drivers. As right now our top 6 here, our 6 drivers left in the playoffs, it is the number 6 ride of Brian Underwood. He is the race leader, also the point leader coming into this race. He won stage 1, he won stage 2. He's trying to round out the sweep here and win this race as well. So for Underwood, coming into this race, so far it's been picture perfect for him to try to work his way into the next round of our playoffs and into that championship 4. Josh Crider got off to a bit of a bad start, got a black flag down pit side, did get the wave around at the end of the first stage, unfortunately did not earn any stage points, but came home second in stage number 2 to earn some good stage points there in that second stage. For Brandon Holder, he ran into some issues, got tied up in a couple of those caution flags, and for the 31 ride, he didn't get any stage points here today. He's back in that 4th position. He needs a good finish to try to keep pace with all these other drivers to try to earn some good points here this evening. And so is in the 72 ride of Jonathan Gaston. He's in that same picture, that same boat right now. He needs a good finish, a good solid run to try to gain as many points as possible and put himself into a spot where he doesn't give up too much points to some of the cats in front of him here for these playoffs. Unfortunately for Danny White, he did earn some stage points, but right now sitting back deep in the field here, about 4.5 seconds back of our race leader, about 2-3 seconds back of some of the other playoff drivers in front of him. So for the 79 ride, he's stuck a little farther back here, currently in that 9th position. Not a fun spot to be. Melvin Brenger back there in 12th, another driver, another one of our playoff drivers here on the evening, back in position number 12. Now he's been able to rebound nicely from getting collected in a couple of those wrecks, some major contact and damage to that 19 ride, had a black flag, went a lap down. He's back on the lead lap. He's back into the battle here, but unfortunately kind of just sucked back here a little deeper in the field. So a late race caution flag would definitely help him out, but for Brian Underwood, he does not want to see that late race yellow. He's loving what he's seeing right now. He's got the race lead. He's got a good car. He's looking to try to finish this one off in victory lane here at Michigan International Speedway and locking his way in to the next round of our playoffs here this evening. For Dustin Sleitler, he's a non-playoff driver, so if he can jump up here, put the pressure onto the back end of that 6th ride, try to jump up and potentially steal the win away from Brian Underwood and keep him kind of in a pressure spot going into Bristol Motor Speedway next week for that 6th ride. As Josh Crider back there in 3rd, he's sitting pretty. He's got some good points on the day. A good finish here could go a long ways for him, trying to work his way back into another championship 4 and back into the battle here in Chicagoland in a few weeks here. So good run so far for the 5 ride. Brandon Holder right there with them inside the top 4, having a good run. Wesley Burke, a non-playoff driver, rolling there in 5th. And then we see Jonathan Gaston back there in position number 6. And right now for Gaston, he is the 4th highest running playoff driver here in the field. Danny White, you see him back there a little farther. He's the 5th highest running playoff driver there in 9th. And then back in 12th is still that number 19 ride of Melvin Brenger, as the points are going to be a hot commodity here over the next few weeks as our champion is about to be crowned here on the season. Just a couple races left after tonight. We head to Bristol Motor Speedway next Saturday night. Then we're off the next Saturday for the Thanksgiving weekend. And then that first Saturday in December, we will crown a champion here on the season. As you start to see that second group reeling in the 15 of Dustin Sleightler, reeling in the 6th ride of Brian Underwood. Crider is there. Crider is on the back bumper here of that 15 machine. So for Dustin Sleightler, he might have his hands full here. He's got the 5, he's got the 31, he's got some of these other playoff drivers right here ready to make their move around him. For Brian Underwood, they just saw how quickly these guys caught up to the back bumper of that 15 ride. Has Underwood been saving a little bit? Does he have a little bit left in his back pocket that he can try to just pull away, keep this gap, and keep these guys back there behind him? I'm not sure if he does, because here comes that 5 ride of Crider looking to eat into his lead once again. Is the 5 trying to track down our race leader with only 5 laps left to go here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is all like Donkey Kong. They are there. Underwood, unfortunately, now has the 5 ride of Crider, the 31 of Brandon Holder, a couple of his playoff competitors now onto his back bumper. He will have to look and try to hold them off and keep them from trying to take this race lead away. It's now only 4 laps left to go. You see the 31 giving a great shove right there. The 5 ride of Josh Crider. Crider will jump down low here looking for a big run out of corner number 2. The 31's going to poke his nose right into that battle, thinking about trying to go 3 wide as they're door to door. Out of corner number 2, and there's contact. Look out! There goes the 31 of Brandon Holder. Holder's around. A couple other drivers will go with him, and the caution flag will fly. Oh, Dustin Sleightler up and into the air, down into the fence. We also saw the 81, Sean Merriman, and Wesley Burke in the 07 ride. Get some very serious damage there for Wesley Burke here in this one as a late race caution flag. I don't think Underwood, Crider, or obviously the 31 ride really wanted to see that one, as that is going to hurt their chances a lot here this evening. As let's take a look at it. So looks like Sleightler to the outside gets a great run out of corner number 2 right here. So Sleightler gets a big run. He tries to work back to the rear bumper of the 6 ride, and obviously the 31 right there. Looks like the 31 kind of committed to the middle. Obviously leaving the outside lane open because the 6 ride is there, but once the 6 kind of clears him, he tries to fill that hole with the 15 ride, come with a big head of steam. He tries to follow through with the 6 ride, and the 31 moving down in front of him. They just run out of room, and they get time to gather. Hard contact up into the outside fence for the 31. Heavy damage there for the 15 ride, and obviously you look at the 07 ride, the 81, nowhere for them to go, and obviously heavy contact here for the 07 as he kind of gets bounced around now once, not twice, but about 3 times here before he finally watches down the racetrack and makes hard contact there with that inside fence. Man, that is a tough break right there for Wesley Burke. Tough break for Brandon Holder, one of our playoff drivers. And obviously Dustin Sleightler tied up in that as well. Looks like Sleightler's taking his car right down pit side. He may be down there for an extended period of time. And for Wesley Burke, he's got heavy damage still on that 07, just trying to get it down pit road. And now, here we go, big question mark for drivers to come down pit side. We do see Brian Underwood. He'll come down pit road. Brandon Deha, Farrell Robbins, Chris Getz, Brenger, Jordan Crider, Sean Merriman, Ben Gleason, and Brandon Holder all down pit side. Now, does Brian Underwood potentially have an extra set of tires back here? That is going to be the big question. It does look like he is going to jack up the right sides. So if he's got fresh tires or maybe a pair of scrubs that he has back there, this could be a game changer late in this race, having those new tires. As we did see Josh Crider, Jonathan Gaston, Danny White, 3 playoff drivers elect to stay out here. They do not come down pit side. Alex Gates also does not make a pit stop there. So our top 4 were last down pit road on lap number 81 here this evening. Brandon Dehuff, Brian Underwood, he'll come out in 6th. Farrell Robbins there in 7th. Brenger back in 8th. Gleason, Crider, our top 10. Chris Getz back in 11th. As Andrew Floyd, Brandon Holder, Sean Merriman, Ryan Stevenson, Wesley Burke there, our top 16. Kevin Calkins looks like he's back there in about the 17th spot. Dustin Sleitler still down pit road. Nathan Brookover looks like he is down and out of this race, and so isn't Sean Wilder. So this is going to get really, really fun. This is going to get really, really interesting as Mr. Hand in the chat. What's good, Jordan? Jordan says, let's go, Danny White. Time for his redemption. He says, time for his redemption. Yeah, it'd be cool to see Danny potentially pick up a dub here on the season and punch his ticket right on through into our championship round here in the playoffs, as this is the first race of our third round of these playoffs, where we'll go from 6 playoff drivers down to our final 4 for the final race of the season and the crowning of our premium stock car racing league champion. Honestly, Josh Crider, he's looking for his second. Danny White's looking for his first, and we know that Brian Underwood, he's won the last 2 in a row. He's looking for potentially his 3rd championship here in a row in the Premium Stock Car Racing League. As Jordan Hand says, Robbins, White, Gleason, the GOATs. The GOATs, he says. The GOATs. Yeah, they're definitely GOATs. That is for certain, man. The old Dogs crew, man, they're all GOATs, man. They're all GOATs. And obviously, so many good, fast, great drivers here throughout the years. Jordan Hand being one of them here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. Obviously, we hate that we don't have Jordan Hand in here battling for the championship again this year, or a few of those other guys. When you look at Applegate, Carrier, a lot of those guys, man, we miss seeing them out there on the racetrack. We wish they were still a part of the series and still in the fun here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League, but unfortunately no longer with us. Josh Crider, though, he'll get ready for a big restart, as we will head to NASCAR overtime, and we will have a green-white checkered finish. So, 2 laps here this evening, 2 laps to try to finish this one off. If we get the white flag, the next flag will end this race no matter what. If the caution flag comes back out before we complete the first lap, then we will go to another attempt at NASCAR overtime. We will have 3 attempts at NASCAR overtime here this evening before the checkered flag is thrown no matter what. But here this evening, it's Josh Crider who's got that race lead. He's hoping for a big restart, and that's exactly what he gets. A great launch, a great jump right there for the 5 right. Crider's hoping that he can use that to his advantage to keep all these drivers back there at bay, as Brandon Dayhoff jumps up into position number 2 in a quick hurry. Farrell Robbins right there in 3rd. Here comes Ben Gleason. Danny White now back into 5th, and unfortunately for the 6th ride of Brian Underwood, Underwood dropped like a rock right there. I'm not sure what happened to Underwood. Started back in position number 6, now finds himself back in 13th, and that could definitely change the entire table here for our playoffs this evening. Is out in front, Josh Crider down and across the line. He will see the white flag fly. So one more time around here for Josh Crider as he looks to put himself back up and into victory lane. But Brandon Dayhoff looking to take the race lead away from him. May lean on him down through 1 and 2. Look out for a big run from Farrell Robbins. Where does he go? There's contact. Around goes the 20 right back behind him. Oh, look out. There goes Gleason. There goes Dayhoff. Down the back straightaway. They're wrecking still as the 5 run continues to lead the way. Here comes Jonathan Gaston. Gaston with a big run. Jumps up in front of the 76. No, they're going to get tied together. Look out. Gaston goes around, and Crider will win here this evening from Michigan International Speedway. Josh Crider will pick up the dub and put himself into victory lane, as Alex Gates will come home in 2nd, and Melvin Branguer will round out our top 3. Jordan Crider back in 4th. Danny White going to round out our top 5 here in this one, as Andrew Floyd, Farrell Robbins, Chris Getz, Brandon Holder, Brian Underwood will come home in 10th. Jonathan Gaston, oh so close to a solid finish here this evening. Finishes back in the 11th position, man. Let's go back through that final lap, because there was a lot going on right here. A lot of craziness, a lot of action, and obviously a lot of things going on here at the front of the field. Brandon Dayhoff with a big run down to the inside. Let's see if he makes a move, see if he can try to jump up here in battle, as he's trying to make the move to steal this win away from the 5 ride. So he's going to drive it deep down low here into quarter number 1. Shoots it down to the inside, obviously trying to carry all the speed momentum. Car's just going to wash back up the racetrack as he washes back up right into the 5 ride. That kind of checks him up. It pushes the 5 up into the outside fence, and then from that point on, they're all just trying to figure out who to go with or who to stay with, who to block kind of deal here at the front of the field. As obviously for Crider, he's trying to win this race. This is a ticket into the championship 4 here this evening. So for Crider, he's not too sure where to go here. As he gets into the fence, the 51 loses momentum. You see Farrell Robbins, he's trying to stay out of him, not wanting to put himself into an issue where he gets tied up in a wreck. You see the 5 Ryan shoots down the racetrack virtually right in front of the lap here of that 66 of Gleason. Now, I don't know if that was a block or if that was just him bouncing off the wall as he's trying to get that thing pointed back in the right direction. Luckily enough, he does get it rolling here again, but still losing all that momentum, and we're going to see a lot more drivers come in here with a big head of steam, but it is the 79 ride of Danny White here. So we're going to watch Danny White as he's going to end up driving up the racetrack ever so slightly here. Let's see if we can get a good look here, a better look at Danny. So Danny sees this. He sees the 5 ride fall down the racetrack here, sees the 66 getting checked up. So he shoots up the track. As he does, the 51 and 76 make a little bit of contact. That closes the gap a whole lot quicker. That's where Danny, the 51 at Dayhuff, and the 66 at Gleason all get tied together. They start wrecking down the back straightaway, and then obviously everyone else still trying to hang on to their ride, still trying to keep themselves pointed in the right direction. You see the 75 ride of Gaston gets a big run here. He's been able to carry all that speed and momentum down the back straightaway, and it shoots him up and into about that 3rd position. Now he's looking for the race lead. 5 ride jumps down low, kind of blocks and puts some dirty air onto the 75 ride, and then as we watch the 75 machine of Gaston, he's going to start to wash up the racetrack, and I think right here he makes the decision that, you know what, I think he wanted to leave the lane there for the 76 to potentially get the run and to potentially go after the 5 for the race win. I think he makes the late decision to jump up here and try to block the 76, or hoping to get in behind the 5 ride and try to draft with the 76 and the 5 down across the line. Unfortunately, they get tied together, and the 75 ride ends up into the outside fence. And for one of our playoff drivers, that is not a fun spot to be, as he will go around here, keeps on spinning here, and unfortunately finishes all the way back in the 11th position, as he was that close to the start-finish line, and unfortunately so many drivers got around him here and beat him back down across the line. So tough break there for that number 72, but a great break here for Josh Crider, as Crider's able to pick up the win in park. This beautiful number 5 ride up and into victory lane here. A big run, big drive here this evening for Josh Crider, as he's able to capture the win here at Michigan International Speedway. We'll get ready to pull him in the rest of our top 5 here in this one, man, as crazy finish. We knew it was going to be crazy, man. Whenever it's a green-white checkered finish, whenever we see these drivers having to battle it out and duke it out like that late in these races, it's always wild. It's always crazy. Luckily enough, it was after the white flag, so we didn't have to stack them up, rack them up, and do it all over again here this evening. But for Josh Crider, Alex Gates, Melvin Brengroer, big runs for them. Obviously, great runs for Crider and Brengroer. Big points that they really needed here this evening. For Danny White, able to come home in 5th. Not too bad. Brandon Holder back in 9th. Underwood there in 10th. They lost a bunch of points right there in those closing laps. So did Jonathan Gaston back in 11th. So for 3 of our playoff drivers outside the top 5 here this evening, not the day that they were hoping for here in this one. As we'll get ready to jump in here and see if we can bring Josh Crider into the chat right now. Where is it? There it is. All right, let's get him in here, chat. Let's get him in here. Let's get him into the booth. Hey, Josh, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
I got you. I got you.
Josh, brother, what a run, what a race, what a dub for you here this evening, man, as you're able to finally park this 5 ride back up into victory lane, man. Take us through the emotions, what you're feeling right now, and obviously, you know, all the excitement there in those closing laps and how you're able to hold these guys off and put yourself up here in victory lane.
Hey, yeah, you better turn my camera on, boy.
I'm about to. There it is.
You better get that
there
on. I want to say hi to Uncle Lonnie and Kirsten and Garrett and Ethan and all the family and woo! I'm going to the championship 4, man. I can't fucking believe it, man.
Yes, sir. Back into the championship for you. Punch your ticket. You're now into the battle here for potentially backing up your Season 2 championship. Obviously, Season 2, a long time ago. A lot of stuff has happened over the last, 4 or 5 seasons. And now you get an opportunity, you get another sniff at it, another possibility to become our second 2-time champion here in the series.
Yeah. First off, I gotta thank everybody for showing up. What a great car count we can continue to have, and pretty good racing, pretty clean racing is exactly what we're looking for. And I gotta thank Dylan's Great Clips haircut. It's awesome looking. It's like a little Hitler looking haircut, but it's cute. So I gotta say hi to him and Jordan, and yeah, they're in the comments, so I want to shout them out, and they wanted me to shout out his Great Clips haircut.
Absolutely, brother. Well, you're looking for that second trophy here, trying to become Jimmy 2 times here in this series. But, man, this is a bit of a wild one. Obviously, early on for you, you come down pit road, you make that first pit stop on lap number 20, you end up with a black flag there. You have that hold down pit road, you go a lap down. Luckily enough, the stage break happens. You're in position to get that lucky dog and to get the wave around back on the lead lap. And here you are, you're starting to slice and dice your way through the field. You make some other pit strategy, and you end up finishing that second stage in position number 2 as well. So that really helped you out a ton there, getting some extra stage points here throughout that second stage. And then it came down to the craziness here late in this one. Obviously, green flag pit stops again, kind of really breaking things up a little bit. And for a while, you guys were just hanging out back there. Seemed like a big pack, 4 or 5 cars hanging out from 3rd to about 6th, 7th position, about a second and a half or so behind that 6th ride of Underwood and behind that 15 ride of Dustin Sleitler. Then all of a sudden, you guys just start to reel them in these closing laps, and you start to make your move on trying to steal that race lead away from Brian Underwood. And, man, it was a great battle for that top spot until the caution flag came out that brought us here to this green-white checkered. And obviously, a pit stop strategy there for Underwood did not work out for him. I don't know what happened to him on the restart there. I don't know if he missed a shift or someone else had an issue there in front of him, but all of a sudden he goes from restarting in 6th to all of a sudden being at the back of the pack here and just trying to survive through some of that carnage late in this race. And you're able to just hold these guys off, man. Take us through that final lap, take us through that start of the race, getting the black flag and everything else, and how you're able to find yourself here in Michigan International Speedway Victory Lane.
Yeah, it's a lot of loaded there. So I'll start with stage 1 with the pit stop. I was coming up pit road, and when you're running for the final 4, you get in your head, and I went back to make sure that I unchecked fast repair because I knew it might be a freaking crap show at some point with Rex, and I went whatever 46, 47, whatever it was. I looked out, I was like, shit. No, and I was a couple miles per hour over, so it was my bad on that. I got lucky to be the lucky dog, and got the wave around and was able to drive right back up to the front. I got to give a shout out to Brian during that second stage, and then there even at the end. We were really working together really well to control the draft up front. I got to give a shout out to Brandon Holder. Because without him being smart and having iRacing IQ is what I'll call it, he really worked with me and got us up front, and got just really worked together to where we could get to Brian. And then when that caution came out, I bet on the league to not have a caution. We ran really well with green flag rate. Brian pitted. I stayed out, and I just kept clutching it to save fuel, and I knew if a caution came out, I was screwed, but it didn't. And on that final green-white checkered restart, I know I was aggressive. I know it, but I'm running for a championship here, and coming down the backstretch, I know I went from all the way to the top down to the bottom and block Ben. I anticipated that happening. He had such a freaking run when he took to the bottom. I don't know if he lifted or not. If he lifted, thank you, Ben, if you're listening. If he didn't lift and he hit me, I deserve it. And it was just enough for him to push me out. But, I'm thankful that we stayed green, and I'm thankful for the win. I haven't won since Michigan last time when I was, on a team with ironically with Noah and Dylan and Melvin. And it kind of the same thing happened where we all ran up front. And so I'm just thankful to be here, man. Brian should have won. He's the rightful winner, but sometimes in racing, cards fall your way, and let's win number 2.
Absolutely, brother. Couldn't have said it any better than myself, man. That is racing. That's unfortunately sometimes the way that the cookie crumbles. And here tonight, you're just getting the right side of the cookie and obviously being able to park yourself up here into victory lane, giving yourself that extra little bit of points, that extra little bit of a boost here, and now punching your ticket into that championship 4. And that leaves 5 other drivers next weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway, man. A short track battle it out here under the lights to duke it out for that final 3 positions here in this championship, which is going to be a ton of fun to watch. It's going to be very, very exciting. And for yourself, Josh, maybe you can jump up there, find yourself back up into victory lane, maybe build up that momentum before our championship race in a few weeks from now.
Yeah, I just got to say, I mean, I'm not Denny Hamlin. I'm not Jordan Hand. I do have a trophy now I'm going to get to. So, and I didn't forget Dylan's name. I forgot Noah's name, that kid that no one likes. So just kidding. But I just saw Jordan's comment. So again, I want to thank Uncle Lonnie for the command and the financial support, Kirsten for the Rollin Wieners Foundation and the financial support with that. All of our sponsors. We got a big announcement coming for next season here in a couple weeks for a big title sponsor. So it's, everything's going good. Life's good. And I'm thankful, and I'll shut up because I'm rambling like Matthew Wood right now. So, we'll get everybody out, and, thank you for watching, and I'm going to championship 4. Yeah.
Beauty, Josh, enjoy the rest of your night, brother, and don't party too hard down there in victory lane.
I got my Powerade. Let's go.
There you go, brother. Enjoy the rest of your night.
6-7.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for the number 5 ride as Josh Crider picks up the checkered flag here this evening and punches his ticket into that championship 4 in a few weeks from now. As we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher, it's Alex Gates. Gates comes home here in position number 2. Let's get the 77 up here into the booth. Hey, Alex, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Alex, man, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening. Obviously, a lot of back and forth for yourself, a lot of different strategy, and some issues out there getting tied up in a couple of those earlier caution flags. But here you are, battle your way through there, keeping yourself out of trouble in that closing lap. And with all the carnage unfolding in front of you, you're able to squeeze your way right on up into a solid second place finish here this evening at Michigan International Speedway. Man, take us back through it and what's going through your mind.
Yeah, I mean, going through the whole race, obviously, I'm new to this league, not trying to ruin anybody's championship dreams or anything like that when it comes to wrecking them. Now, if I win a race or if I beat them, then that's a different story. But yeah, I joined the practice late, was able to get a feel for the car and feel for the track and everything, and I was kind of learning as I went. Started seeing what the lines the leaders were running and just sticking with them. And then there was a couple of tight pinches. I don't know if it was net code or just misjudgment between myself or the other cars in that big wreck. I want to say it was like lap 30, 31 maybe. I mean, it happens. It's racing. Luckily, it's just a video game, so everybody has that reset or the fast repair. So, but yeah, it was a crazy night.
Yeah, crazy night, a lot of back and forth, and yeah, there was quite a few incidents out there that were due to the net code here this evening, so it definitely seemed like it was being an issue here this evening, so definitely a possibility there in that big caution flag down into corner number 1, but luckily enough, you're able to get your car fixed back up, you're able to stay on the lead lap, stay in the battle, and you're able to get paid off for all your hard work and your great driving to come home with a second place run here in the Premium Stock Car Racing League. Feel pretty good. Obviously, a lot of fast cats back there behind you. Some of them obviously due to those cautions late in the race or due to the wrecks there on that final lap. But you got to be happy about being able to come up here, join us in the booth, and being able to have yourself a good finish and a good run here towards the end of the season.
Oh yeah, it's I'm stoked to be able to be in the top 3 to be able to come talk to you guys in the booth. I had high hopes last weekend at Rockingham, and I'm not sure what happened. We're just coming out of turn 2. I lost it, and I feel bad because I messed up Melvin, the 19 car. I messed up his night, and on top of it, same thing happened tonight. Last lap, going into turns 1 and 2, was trying to dodge the 75 from scraping the wall a little bit. Had a decent run on him, and didn't want to just run right into the rear end of him and send him sideways into the corner or whatever. So I dove underneath him, just misjudged the grip that I had in the car, and unfortunately, Melvin was nice enough to kind of let off the throttle and let me into that little gap that I had instead of running me over. So, yeah, I'm glad to be able to be up here and talk to you guys. I feel like I got something to prove just now joining the league, and had high hopes last weekend, and being up here feels pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a heck of a run, a great drive for, and obviously building some good momentum when it comes to our next season and wanting to try to battle for the points and for the championship next year. Obviously getting a bit of an early jump to it and building that momentum and the comfortability with all the other drivers that will be a part of the next season here to try to help boost your confidence into that first race.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to get to know the league and listen to you guys broadcasters. I heard you give one of my knucklehead of a friends here on the Marine Corps base in Quantico, Daniel. I heard you guys give him a huge shout out because unfortunately, if I'm in a league, I'll send him the videos, and he's just a heinous man that puts wild stuff on there. So whatever he says, don't take it literally or don't take it personally, stuff like that. So.
Oh no, we always like to joke around in the chat, that's for certain. But man, it's been a lot of fun so far here tonight, man. Unfortunately for yourself, the racing action has come to an end, unless you want to jump in and run some more races. But for me up here in the booth, it is the end of my night. So Alex, who would you like to thank for such a good run and great performance here this evening?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. So obviously, I want to thank the league and the league owner for hosting this race. You guys being up in the booth and everything. I know it takes a lot of time and effort on you guys. On the hood of my car, I run the Hunter Lopez Foundation. He was one of my personal mentors, starting the career in the Marine Corps. So being able to run his name and family's foundation for him means a lot to me. And then I got to give a huge shout out to my family for putting up with me doing these races, and my uncle William Elmore, who introduced me to this league, and then he introduced my dad and my other uncle, just a bunch of knuckleheads coming into this league. So fortunately, we're able to make it tonight, but hopefully they'll be here next weekend.
Absolutely. Well, we head to Bristol next week, so it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of craziness there as well, and hopefully we see you guys out there on the racetrack duking it out and seeing if you can park this 77 ride back up here in the podium, maybe one spot better and into victory lane next Saturday night. Alex, congrats on the second place run here tonight, man, and we'll get you right back up here hopefully next week.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
You as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Alex Gates. As Gates comes home here in position number 2. Solid run, solid drive there for the newcomer here in this series. The 77 comes home in second. But now, bringing in our driver who rounds out the podium, it is the 19 rider, Melvin Brengruer. Brengruer comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Let's get Melvin up here into the booth. Hey, Melvin, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Melvin, man,
What's
great
happening?
run, great drive for you here this evening as you're able to somehow or another be able to finish this race and end up in position number 3 here this evening, man. Take us back through it. It's obviously a bit of early chaos for you, some issues. Obviously, you get tied up in that one big caution flag. You get that damage. You come down pit road. Look like you got a black flag or 2. As you made that pit stop, you end up going a lap down, almost going 2 laps down. Luckily enough, you're able to keep yourself right there, still in the lucky dog position, 1 lap down just in front of our race leaders, and virtually, a lap or 2 after you come back out of the pits, losing that lap, caution flag comes out, you get the lucky dog, you get right back into the action, but then you got to dodge all these other drivers and all the other carnage here throughout the rest of the night as you slowly but surely navigate your way back up here towards the front. That final lap, all the mayhem, you're able to dodge majority of it and find yourself up here on the podium and at least finish this night off with some good solid points here for your first race of round number 3 of this championship, and trying to work yourself into that championship 4. At least you were able to finish this one off on the right foot.
Yeah, just living up to the poll results of being the first of 2 drivers to be eliminated from the round of 6, and just going out there with a point to prove. Just fun times. People want to count me out, and I just keep surprising them.
Absolutely. Can never count you out, man, especially when it comes to, any type of racing here, man. You just never know, what cards are going to be dealt. Obviously, early on, looked like things were very bleak for you. Looked like things were maybe going in the wrong direction, especially if it stayed more clean and green there. You might have went 2 laps down, might have put you into a tough position. If there was a lot less yellow flags, could have put you into a very tough spot here in this race. But luckily enough, you're able to battle back into it and battle your way through that carnage here into position number 3. Take us through kind of that final lap and what was going through your mind. Obviously, we saw some issues there between yourself and Alex Gates as he was trying to avoid the 75 ride, and everyone's just getting tight down there, 2, 3, 4 wide, maybe even a little 5 wide in through corner 1 and 2. Luckily enough, you're able to avoid any major contact or damage or running into issues there. And then obviously down the back straightaway, you see a couple cars start to fly around here, and you're able to avoid them, drive yourself up into position number 3.
I went down the strategy route. I saw a bunch of people pitting. I figured if I had 4 tires and the leaders weren't pitting, I would have a really good shot to be able to drive up there. And when the green flag started, there was some issues near the front of the field. Some cars didn't get going, and Brian in front of me got a bit sideways. I guess the car in front of him wasn't going. And I had a really good run going through the next to white flag lap. White flag drops. I go into 1. Alex, I guess, was avoiding whoever that was above, but I had a run out of hell going into that corner. And as soon as I lifted the front end, decided to push up, I almost just about knocked the wall down and managed to run the leaders down. I think if I had another lap, I would have been up there probably in victory lane, but I guess that's what next week is for.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, you're still able to come out of it. Some good solid points. Obviously, you see, a bunch here, 4 other championship drivers back there behind you, with Danny White coming home in 5th, Holder there in 9th, Underwood in 10th, Gaston in 11th. So even if they were able to gain some points on you through the stages, where we saw a lot of non-playoff drivers earn stage points here this evening. So I don't think, Brandon Holder got any stage points. I don't think Gaston got any stage points here this evening, or yourself. So it came down really to the end of this race, and you're able to get a good finish here to be able to kind of leapfrog them and maybe put yourself inside of the top 4 going into next week at Bristol.
Yeah, I looked out in stage 1, finishing 4th, because I was able to just lean on those stage points there. But the second stage, I didn't score any stage points, but I think the real saving grace there was just coming back and finishing 3rd, which overall I think was a good points day for me.
Yeah, absolutely, and every one of those points may be the difference maker after next week, whether or not you're going to be a part of this championship, or you'll unfortunately just be another driver to battle for a race win when it comes to Chicagoland in a few weeks. But here tonight, you're able to survive it here at the end, able to park this 19 right up on the podium. Melvin, who'd you like to thank here this evening for another great run and another great performance here in your championship hunt?
I thank everybody for putting on a solid show, and once again, like the last time I was here, thank you for doing your thing and what you do and putting the spotlight on us and what we do and making it entertaining for the folks watching at home, and hopefully next week be able to run it back again and maybe see if I am not such a blue moon stranger in this interview room.
Absolutely, brother. Well, heck of a run, heck of a drive for you, Melvin. Good job on another third-place run. Hopefully a couple more times will get you into the booth here to finish off this season and maybe a championship year for the 19 ride. Melvin, congrats on the third-place finish, brother, and we'll see you back at Bristol Motor Speedway, man, for our final race of the third round of the playoffs here next Saturday night.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. It's fun.
Absolutely, man. That's what it's all about. Having fun, having a good time, and enjoying your time here on the simulator, man. Enjoy the top 3 finish, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here next week.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for that 19 ride of Melvin Brengruers. Brengruer comes home in position number 3 here this evening, man. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for that 19 ride as he rounds out our podium here today, man. Great run for Jordan Crider as well there in 4th, and Danny White rounding out our top 5. Andrew Floyd up and into 6th here. Great run there for Andrew late in this race, and then Farrell Robbins, Chris Getz, Brandon Holder, Underwood rounding out our top 10 here in this one, man, as that was a very exciting, very crazy couple last laps as a little NASCAR overtime treated us just right here on this fine Saturday night. Unfortunately, though, that will do it for us here in this one, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love and enjoying the amazing racing action here this evening with the Premium Stock Car Racing League, as we'll be back in action tomorrow afternoon with the Outcast Racing League. Hopefully we see you guys back in the grandstands cheering those drivers on, as we'll be live just around 4 o'clock Eastern time, and hopefully you guys are excited and ready to watch some more amazing racing here on Peacemaker Gaming. But thank y'all for watching, thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all back here tomorrow night, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday night.
Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt, raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt, raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room.